So thanks everybody for attending the webinar today. My name is Davin Perkins, and I'm going to be talking about setting up an eBay store. Now, the point at which most of you are going to be watching this lesson is once you're starting to get charged on eBay for listing an item. Now, the way that every single base account on eBay works is that you get 50 free listings per month, which means you can list 50 items in a calendar month. The moment you try to list your 51st item, eBay is going to charge you 35 cents. And so the problem there is once they're charging you 35 cents per listing, the prospect of getting up to hundreds or thousands of items on eBay starts to sound pretty expensive. And so what an eBay store does for us is it helps to change our mentality from an a la carte approach to a buffet mentality approach. And what I mean by that is that if you're getting charged 35 cents per listing, every time you list a new item on eBay, it's like a punch in the stomach, like, yeah, this costs you a little bit more just to list this item, whether or not it sells, right? So what an eBay store does in its simplest explanation is it gives you free listings to put out there on eBay. It just gives you a higher amount of free items that you're getting. Now, in exchange for that, you're paying a subscription, but it's just like when you pay to go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant. If you pay to go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant, you tend to eat quite a bit more because you know that every bite of food you take means that the average cost of food that you're consuming is going to cost less. If I go to a taco shop that has an all-you-can-eat taco buffet, and I can sit down and for $12 I can eat as many tacos as I want, then I'm going to eat a lot more than if I know that I'm going to pay $5 for every single taco that comes out. So if I'm getting that all-you-can-eat taco plan, then that means that I'm going to eat 4 or 5 tacos. And if I have to spend $5 on each taco, I might stop myself at 2 and say, yeah, you know what, I'm good, because I don't want to be paying every single time. And so because you pay the same amount regardless of how many items you list, it really incentivizes you to push the limits and list as many items as you can so that you're really getting the maximum value out of that eBay store. So in order to talk about eBay stores, first we need to jump into the eMentor tool site. Now, as a part of this lesson, I'm going to actually subscribe to an eBay store so that I get to show you the entire process. But before I subscribe to a store, I need to show you where on the eBay website eBay talks about eBay stores, and then I also am going to give you a breakdown of the point at which it makes sense to upgrade between the levels of eBay stores. So if you come to the eMentor Tools website, now keep in mind this is not the eMentor Go website. I've had some confusion with that with students in the past. We're going to eMentor Tools, and once we're on eMentorTools.com, we come to the eBay Tools menu, and we're going to go down to the one that says eBay Stores. Once you click on this, it's going to open up the eBay stores and subscriptions. Now, eBay currently offers 5 different levels of eBay stores. Now, this is in addition to just the regular eBay account. So the regular eBay account that gives you 50 listings per month is not one of these 5 options. An eBay store, the way that you can identify a seller who has an eBay store is just go to eBay. And if you take a look at anybody who's listed on the first page of eBay, chances are they have a store, because it really is a no-brainer to get an eBay store in place once you're big enough. So here we are looking at this listing. We have this seller here. He has 89,000 feedback. And if we click on this seller's eBay user ID, it's going to take me in to this page. This is like his store homepage. And you'll notice there's this icon right here in the upper right that says Visit Store, right? So that's how you know that a seller has an eBay store. If we were to go and look at my account, so let's go ahead and look up the Typhoon Ventures account. So this is my equivalent page. This is what my page looks like. Now, I haven't added a profile. You can see the items for sale, but you'll notice that it does look a little bit different. You don't see that See Store option in there or anything else. Whereas on this seller's, you see that big feedback score, how much is positive. Now, part of that's just because I have 0 feedback on eBay. If I actually had some feedback, some of that would show up. But you just get a lot more once you have an eBay store in place. But a lot of what you get from an eBay store isn't tangible. So eBay is in the business of making money, and eBay makes money in one of 2 ways. When an item sells, they collect a fee on those transactions, or they charge you like a fee as a part of listing a new item, and then they've also got some fee upgrades. But the major way that they make money is on items that have actually sold. The other way that they make money is on eBay store subscriptions. Now, with eBay store subscriptions, customer pays for it every month, and so it's a nice residual income for eBay, and so they really want to push those eBay stores because it helps to create an extra degree of stability that fees off of sales volume doesn't give them. Now, As a result, and eBay will not admit this, but it is objectively the case because we've seen this happen with many, many students, is that eBay ranks your items better when you have a store in place. So your items rank better, you get more traffic, you get more sales just because you upgraded to a store and not for anything else. So that's the biggest reason why we want to do an eBay store. But let's get into some of the numbers. Let's kind of crunch those and then see where it takes us. So first, let me go ahead and open up a document here that I want to show you. All right, let's get that. Okay, so here's a little sheet that I created. Now, I'm just going to show it to you here in the lesson. There's really no place for you to be able to access this information other than what's here in the webinar. But this is a breakdown of what an eBay store costs and at what point it starts to make sense to do the transition. Now, if we compare and contrast the two bits of data I've got up here on the screen. So we've got the eBay store spreadsheet that I've just created. But in addition to that, we've got this one. Here we go, where we have these store subscriptions. Let's get these side by side. There we go. Here we go. All right, so we've got starter, basic, premium, anchor, and enterprise. Now, on my spreadsheet, I've got enterprise, anchor, premium, basic, but I don't have the starter account. Instead, I have the regular account. The reason I don't have the starter account is because the starter account is $5 a month, but it doesn't give you a reduction in your eBay fees. So what I mean by that is that if we come down here, so I just went to eMentor Tools, I clicked on the link for eBay Store Subscriptions, and it brought me to this page. But if I come down here, so here are the 5 levels of stores. The starter store is $5 a month with an annual subscription. The basic is $22 a month. Premium is $59, Anchor is $299, and then Enterprise is $3,000 a month. So we don't talk about the starter store because the starter store is basically a waste of space. If you click on the starter store, you get 100 free listings a month as a part of that. After the 100 free listings, you're charged 30 cents per listing. Now on a base eBay account, you get charged 35 cents a listing. So it's a 5-cent reduction in eBay fees. But my biggest problem that I have with the eBay fees is that they keep them at 10%. So you're paying $5 a month, you're only getting 50 free extra listings per month. The base account gives you 50 free listings, a starter store level gives you 100 free listings, but that's just not enough value for what we want. Plus, we're gonna hit that 100 so fast that it's just a waste of time to even upgrade to this level store, because before we know it, we're gonna be upgrading to the next level store that actually gives us some real advantages. So that's the basic level store. So what I'm gonna recommend to everybody who's in this lesson right now is that when it comes time where you are north of 50 listings, so when you're going to go and list your 51st item, it will tell you, hey, it's going to cost you 35 cents to list this item. If you follow through and list that item, that's what they're going to charge you. But if you stop right there and you just upgrade to the eBay store, then that 51st listing is going to be free. And the 52nd and 53rd, all the way until you get up to about 250 listings. And then after you hit 250 live listings on eBay, then they're going to charge you 25 cents per listing. So you're getting basically a 10-cent reduction in your fees. But really where the benefit comes in is in this final value fee cut. So basically, you're able to pay as little as 4% on a sale that comes through. Now, before you get too excited about this, the categories in which you get that lower final value fee are generally in categories that we don't want to list in anyway. So for example, if you're going to be doing books, movies, and DVDs, it's going to be 12%. eBay recently increased that price. Final value fee for music and records is going to drop to 9.15%. And then if you're listing for guitars and basses, they're only going to charge you 3.5%. For heavy equipment, 1.5%, and so on. But for the majority of your items, the vast majority of your items that are not collectible items, that are not items that are one of a kind, you're going to get charged 9%. Now, when you look at that and you say, okay, and by the way, it's going to be closer to 9% than 9.15 on most transactions. But you might say to yourself, well, that's not much of a difference. If I'm getting charged 10% on a sale versus 9%, really is that a meaningful difference? Well, when we start to scale into this, and we're not far off from getting to a point where we're seeing $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 in sales a month, it's just all of those sales are correlated directly to the amount of volume we put out there and the caliber of listings that we're putting up. So a lot of you maybe at this point, maybe you haven't seen any sales yet, or maybe you've only seen one or two. And so it's hard for you to envision that you're actually that close to it. But with this set of assignments, you're finally to the point where we're satisfying the last things that are keeping customers from buying from you. We're talking about reputation, credibility, rankings, and the eBay store helps you with all of those things. It's going to help you with credibility because when somebody sees you have an eBay store, they see you as somebody who's legitimate. When somebody sees you have an eBay store, they're more likely to buy from you and trust you because they feel like you're backed up by eBay. And you're going to get this drop in eBay fees on those transactions, which makes it worthwhile. So let's give a hypothetical example. So let's say that we get to a point where we've done $1,000 in sales. Now, $1,000 in sales isn't really a lot. That's like 3 to 4 sales, maybe 5 or 6 if you're going after a lower average volume. But really, 5, 6, 7 sales is not a big deal. So if you had an eBay store and you did $1,000 in sales, you would be charged $90 in eBay fees. Whereas if you don't have an eBay store in place, then you're going to get charged $100 in eBay fees. So there's a $10 difference between those two price points. So once you get to a point where you're doing somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 of sales a month, and again, that's only like 15, 20, maybe 25 sales in some instances, but it's really not a lot, right? We're talking about less than daily sales. And you're talking about a $20, $30, $40 difference in the amount of eBay fees that you're paying in that. So once you are selling just a little bit in volume, the eBay store subscription really just pays for itself. Now, in addition to that, you're also getting charged 10 cents less per listing, and you're getting an extra 200 listings. So on your base account, again, you're going to get 50 free listings without any kind of a store in place. Once you upgrade to the basic level store, you're going to get 250 listings per month. So you're getting an extra 200 listings for that eBay store fee. So you get a lot more listings to list, you get more credibility, your final value fees go down, and the fixed price listing price goes down as well. Then once we upgrade to the eBay premium store level, then your listings start to get really cheap. You're only talking about 10 cents per listing, which is pretty meaningful in my opinion. So let me go ahead and pull up my spreadsheet because I've created this document so I can show you at what point it's worthwhile to upgrade to the store. Now, from a financial perspective, the point at which you upgrade to an eBay store, I put it in as upgrade once you hit 51 items. So if you're a regular account and you're upgrading to a basic account, as soon as you hit 51 items, that means that you're ready to upgrade to here. In fact, maybe I should put it like this. Maybe I should put everything here. Now, I'll keep it the way it was. Never mind. So once you hit 51 listings, I would recommend setting up the eBay store because of the increased traffic, sales, and everything else. Now, that said, once you have a store in place, eBay doesn't distinguish between basic, premium, anchor, and enterprise. And what that means is that you're not going to get preferential treatment just because you're a premium account. The only reason you'd want to upgrade that eBay account is because it financially makes sense to do so. So the point at which it's cheaper to list new items rather than keep the store level that you have is at 439 listings. So basically, once you hit 51 listings, you're going to sign up for a basic level eBay store. You're going to continue to list new items. Following what I'm teaching in this set of assignments, I'm going to be showing you how to copy off of other successful sellers as a part of this set of assignments. It's just a couple of additional webinars down the road where I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then you're going to keep on listing until you hit 439. 439 is the magic number. 438, it's cheaper to keep a basic store, just with the cost per listing and the amount of free listings you get factored in. Once you hit 439, that's where you stop and you upgrade to the premium level store. Once you have gotten to 3,751 listings, it is now cheaper to have your listings as an anchor store because of the additional free listings you're getting. On the premium account, you're getting 1,000 free listings. But because you're only paying 10 cents per listing, it takes you an additional 2,751 listings to get to a point where this anchor store level at $349.95 a month is going to be cheaper overall than doing the premium store. And then once you are at 63,001 listings, now it's time to upgrade to the enterprise. And the reason that this box is black down here is because there's no level higher than an enterprise store. So there's no point at which you'd upgrade beyond that. Now, you're getting 1 million free listings on the enterprise store. Every listing costs 5 cents. Notice that the price per listing that you're getting doesn't change between the anchor and the premium. The only thing it changes is that on the anchor store, you get 10,000, and on the enterprise, you get literally 100 times that amount. at $1 million. And so you'll notice that as you look at each of these subscription prices, these prices are not matching what shows up on eBay. Because if we look at the eBay fees, let's go ahead and get into the subscription page again. I'll tuck this over here on the left, and then I'll tuck this page over here on the right. I'll alter the sizes a bit so that we can kind of bounce back and forth if we need to. All right, so basic store, 250 free listings, 25 cents per listing after you hit your limit, or after you have listed 250 items. Now this is per month. Keep that in mind. You get 250 free listings per month. Now, as we're listing items, we're doing all these items as good until canceled. A good until canceled item is a listing that expires every 30 days and then automatically renews itself unless you end it. So what that means is that if you have 50 live items on eBay, that means that you're using up 50 free listings per month automatically. So that's just something you definitely want to be aware of as we're talking about this. So let's go ahead and get down. Let's see if I can see, let's expand all of these sections. Okay, so what I think is a little disingenuous with eBay is that they're talking about with the prices with the annual subscription. They don't talk about it with the monthly subscription because they give you the two options. Now, financially speaking, it's a no-brainer to do an annual subscription to this, but the chances is that there's a high likelihood that you're going to upgrade store levels within the next month or two, because it's not going to take that long to get to 250 listings, especially once I teach you how to use the auto lister. That's really going to speed you up a ton. But the price that they're actually going to charge you is going to be this, $27.95 a month. And I'm going to recommend that everybody just goes to month on an eBay store level until they get to a point where they're content with how many items they have listed. At that point, then you can go and look at doing an annual subscription. But an annual subscription, you're looking at paying eBay, well, $22 multiplied by 12 months. So you're paying them $250 or something like that all at once. So it is cheaper. I mean, it's $5 cheaper per month, but just go month to month initially and then upgrade later on. So the premium level store is $60 a month, $59.95 a month. But if you go month to month, it's actually $74.95. If you do the anchor store, it's $299 a month. If you are going to pay a year in advance, again, $300 multiplied by 12, that's a pretty decent chunk of change there, right? And so we don't want to do that. But if you, once you get to that anchor level, that's $350 a month that you're paying unless you go annual. So, I mean, you are saving $600 if you go with the annual plan. But again, just don't do it initially. And then finally, on the annual subscription with the enterprise store, that doesn't change because they only offer it in the annual subscription, if I remember right. Or maybe they just don't change it. Oh, that's right. That's what it is. So if you look at this number right here, there we go. Yeah, $2,900 a month with monthly subscription. So let's go to subscribe now, and let's make sure that checks out. Yeah, so they don't give you the option to even do month to month when you do this. So yeah, you only get the 1 year plan, whereas all these ones, you get the $350 a month one. So this is the one I want you to do. So nobody do the starter plan. You don't get the reduction in the final value fees, and you only get an extra 50 free listings. So it's kind of a waste of time to do the starter. So just go straight to the basic. It only takes a few sales for you to compensate for the increase in cost, the $15, $20 difference in cost. The benefit you get from that reduction in eBay fees. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit select and review on this. Oh, and then down here at the bottom of this, all this is it just says, hey, upgrade from the regular business account to a basic store subscription level once you hit 51 listings per month, and then it tells you what those numbers are here. So just notice that these numbers, like 3,751, that's just that number right there. I just put it in text format because it might be easier for people to understand. So if you need to pause this lesson and write those numbers down, that would be perfectly fine. But remember, those are the benchmarks at which we want to upgrade to the next level store. And I would like to see everybody get to a point within several months where it financially makes sense to be at the premium store subscription level, because that means that we're probably doing pretty well in terms of gross sales. So anyway, I'm going to actually subscribe to a basic store subscription, and I'm going to demonstrate that process. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select that I want to do monthly instead of annually. So it's going to charge me $27.95 a month. From there, it wants me to make up a store name. Now, the store name, this doesn't really matter, right? Now, eBay gives you a whole bunch of quote unquote extras that come with the eBay store. You get a customized URL, so you could print it on a business card and hand it out at flea markets. They give you categories, so you can categorize your products into different categories, which is really great from a user experience perspective. The only problem is it doesn't really match what typical eBay behavior is. When somebody shops on eBay, they don't go and find a store and then look through that store selection to see what they have to offer. No, they just type in a keyword phrase, and then they look through the listings and they click on the one they want and they buy that one. There's not really a reason for them to go to your store. The only compelling reason why somebody might go to a store is if you were handing out business cards at a flea market and somebody took one and said, oh, I need to go to ebay.com/Typhoon Ventures, and then they would be able to see my store and all my offerings. But I think handing out business cards at a flea market is a waste of time. And so I don't want to spend any time really doing any kind of customization for it. The reason we're doing this is purely utilitarian. We get more free listings. It creates that buffet mentality, because if you sign up for that subscription and you know you're getting 250 listings per month, whether or not you use them, then it's going to push you to list more items. I found over the years, as I've coached students, I didn't always do it this way. What I would have students do is I would have them switch to the eBay store level once it just became financially viable to do so, meaning that once it became cheaper to have a regular or a basic store account than it was to have a free account, then I would have them upgrade there, which usually meant that they were upgrading once they were north of like 80, 90 items. But now, I've seen what happens. Students who are getting charged 35 cents a pop slow down, and they really dramatically reduce the amount of items that they're listing, and they don't hit the same levels of success as students who upgrade to the store. And that's for two reasons. First, they're getting kicked in the stomach every time they see that 35-cent fee, but the bigger issue is that eBay isn't ranking their items as well. And so, again, the starter store is a waste of time. Don't do the starter store. Go straight to the basic account. And if you do that, you'll be happy as a result. Now, what should your store name be? Well, really, your store name should just match what your eBay user ID is. So my user ID is Typhoon Vent, because Ventures was too long or something like that. And so I'm going to do Typhoon Ventures, and that's what I'm going to do. So TYPHOON Ventures. So again, it's just a variant on my username. It basically should be the same thing, more or less. It doesn't need to be exactly the same, but similar is ideal. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and hit Submit Order. And by the way, as you're looking at that eBay store subscription page, feel free to look through that entire page and see what kind of options they have in place. But I'm just going to go ahead and finish up with this process. I'm just going to actually finish out with the order, make the payment, and then go from there. Hopefully I've got enough money in my PayPal account to do this on this demo account. So they also include a free account to Terra Peak Research, but don't really need to do that. It's not going to be super beneficial to us at this point. And so, okay, we have successfully subscribed to the eBay store. You'll get an email confirming your subscription shortly. Your current active listings will appear in your new eBay store, and your eBay store will be ebay.com/str/Typhoon Ventures. So this is just my store ID where they've eliminated the spaces. They made them lowercase, and they put STR in the middle of it just to indicate that all of the store links are under the STR portion of it. So this is what an eBay store looks like. So now my eBay store is upgraded. It does show my 0 and my 0% right there. And yeah, that's it. That's really it for what an eBay store is. Now we can create customized categories, but again, it's a waste of time. Nobody really sees this page, so there's not a compelling reason to do it. People don't shop this way on eBay, so I can't stress enough, don't waste your time making your store pretty. It just doesn't make sense. So you can purchase Seller Manager Pro. We don't need that. Your monthly subscription begins today and will be renewed on February 1st, 2020. And they're going to prorate this subscription. So it's not like you're going to get charged the full amount, even though you're only using it for 2 weeks. It's just going to be whatever that $27 a month is divided by how many days are left in the month. And then it's going to renew on the specified date. So now that we have signed up for the eBay store, we are good to go. So let me check my email really quick. So let me go ahead and log into my Gmail account for Typhoon Ventures. And by the way, you can also find the eBay store subscriptions page just by typing into Google eBay store subscriptions. And the first one that shows up is that page that we were just barely on. So either way is fine to get there. So let's see. I wanted to look through a few of the other sections and see if there's anything else specific that I wanted to bring up. Okay, access to promoted listings, that doesn't really matter. Branding your business. So this is what I was talking about before. You've got a customizable storefront homepage, but it just doesn't matter. So don't worry about any of that with branding your business. You do get dedicated support, like you get a special team at eBay to give you help once you upgrade to some of those higher store levels, specifically the Anchor and the Enterprise. Those are the ones that are $350 a month and $3,000 a month respectively. They just want to make sure that they're keeping you happy. So let's see. How do I upgrade my store? Okay, that might be something worth showing you because at some point you're going to want to upgrade the store. Once you have 439 listings, that's where it just makes sense. And then there are some things about your eBay fees or when the eBay store subscription sells or charges. Eligible sellers may subscribe to an eBay store at any time during the year. The subscription fee will appear on your monthly invoice. Your first month of your subscription is prorated. That's what I was saying earlier, based on your sign up date. For example, if you sign up on April 27th and you're billed on the first of every month, you'll only be charged for the remaining 4 days in April, plus the month of May or on May 1st. So if you cancel it, you can cancel the subscription at any point. You have the full benefit of your subscription through the expiration date. So if I were to cancel my eBay store, I would still have eBay store benefits until the end of this month. And I actually probably am going to do it just because I only set up an eBay store so I could demonstrate it in this lesson so that you understand the process. This is basically a dummy account. So of course I'm not going to keep it, but I'm going to end up having to pay those fees through the end of the month. And then your eBay store is canceled, and then you'll be reverted back to a regular eBay account. So you're not signing any kind of a contract, which is nice, unless you try to pay that yearly plan, in which case you might have to fight with eBay to get that money back, which isn't great, just isn't great. So I think that's all I needed to cover here on this page. So now I want to pull up that email from eBay. So I get this message. It says, congratulations, your store is open. It gives me a link to my store again. All of your eBay listings will appear in your store within 24 hours. Now, there is something where you may not see your items in your eBay store. If you are in Australia or you are in the UK and you're planning on selling items within the US marketplace, when you go to your store and look at your listings, you may not see your listings at all because eBay is picking up that you're located in Australia and they're saying, oh, well, none of these items are valid to be purchased from Australian buyers, so we're not going to show them these listings. We're only going to show them listings that they could actually buy. So unless you change your IP address to appear as though you were in the United States, you wouldn't see anything there. So what I'm saying is that if you are in the UK, you're in New Zealand, you're in Singapore, and you're listing these items on the eBay US website, you may not see the listings, but they are still there. So let's see. Your payment method on file will be billed monthly in the amount of your monthly fee in accordance with the eBay fees. You also get access to research tool for Terapeak. The only issue with Terapeak is that you'll end up spending 30 minutes to an hour to research out a product, and there's only like a 1 in 4 chance you'll end up listing that item after doing the research. And so basically for every 4 hours, 2 to 4 hours of research, it would only yield 1 listing. And so that slows you down so dramatically that you're better off just listing in volume. You're going to see more sales come out that way, and you're not going to waste a bunch of time doing research that may or may not translate to sales. So now at the bottom of this page, you do get this button that says Manage My Store Subscriptions. And this is useful because this is the same page that you're going to go to upgrade your store subscription to the next level once you hit 439 listings. So if I click on that, it brings me into my page. And I'm going to show you another way to get here in just a second. But if you want to upgrade your store, just find that email, click Change Subscription, and then you'll be able to select whatever subscription you want to go to. Now, my recommendation, of course, is you upgrade one store level at a time. Once you hit those benchmarks that I showed you, 439 listings and so on, provided these numbers stay the same. Now, I guess at any point, eBay could update this and change it. They haven't changed this now in a couple of years, and so that is kind of nice. But this page does also give you a nice breakdown of what the final value fees are, where it just shows you that your fees are going to be the same regardless of which store level you do, with the exception of the starter plan. On this one, it's showing that it's 3.5 to 12. It's just on the majority of items, you're paying 10%. So it doesn't actually show what those differences are. Let's see what happens if we click on that. Okay, we'd have to go to that previous page that we were just on to see that. Okay, now the other benefit that we get with an eBay store, which is beneficial, is that you get an insertion fee credit for auction style listings that do sell. So if you do run auctions, then you're going to get more credits on that. You're not going to get charged the 25 cents on transactions, but all of them do allow the vacation hold and everything else, which is nice. And you can go through and look through this table. So trying to see if there's anything else that would be worth mentioning to you. Yeah, I think we're set. Okay, so if we go back to subscriptions, then we can come back to this page where we can upgrade, downgrade our plan, or of course, if we want to, we can come back here and we can hit that cancel subscription button as well. So how do we get to this page from eBay without having to see it in the email? Well, the answer is you go to your selling section first. So let's start from the beginning. So let's go to eBay and selling. Okay, so here I am on my dashboard. And so now I get this cute little door next to my username that tells me that I have an eBay store. And so that's not going to show up on the majority of my listings, but that's the easiest way to find out if your store took or if it worked fine. Now from there, what we're trying to find is we want to get down to the shortcuts box. Now these boxes can be rearranged, as you well know. So just find the box that's labeled shortcuts wherever it's located on the page. And then you're going to click right here on where it says site preferences. Now, once you click on site preferences, this is going to bring you into the My eBay account page. And then from there, we just need to find the subscription section. There it is. So it looks like it's a fourth bullet point from the bottom right now. And if you click on subscriptions, then it's going to bring you right into this page that we were just in before, where you can change your subscription or cancel your subscription as needed. But really, when you start to take this seriously, that $27 a month pays for itself pretty easily once you've got enough items listed. So once you're ready to list your 51st item, take a step up in the credibility, take a step up in your eBay rankings, go ahead and upgrade your eBay store. And then I'll go ahead and end the webinar today just by showing you that spreadsheet again so that you can pause it so you can know at what point to do the upgrade. All right, and here it is. So everybody starts off with the regular account and you're getting charged 35 cents per listing. On your 51st item, go ahead and upgrade to that basic level store regardless of what time of the month it is, because it is prorated. And then once you've got that eBay store in place, you're now ready to move on to the next training where we're going to talk about building up your reputation so you can look more credible as a seller. So thanks for attending the webinar today. Hopefully we've answered all your questions. I'll hang out on the line here for a minute longer in case I've got anybody who has questions in this webinar that I can answer. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Feel free to ask those questions and I'll resume the recording if there are any more questions. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So we'll go ahead and end the webinar now. Feel free to reach out to your coach if you have any questions about this. Feel free to share with your coach the numbers at which I've recommended to upgrade your eBay store levels, and we'll take it from there when you're ready. Thanks for attending.